This is Yusuf, a 2000 rated prodigy who is the North American chess champion for age 10 and under. He's about to face Anna Cramling, who is the daughter of 2 grandmasters, a professional chess streamer, and also a strong FIDE Master, with a peak rating of 2175. When Yusuf reveals his rating, we can see how shocked Anna is, realizing that this would not just be any ordinary chess match, rather one she would struggle to win. Anna begins the match with d4, and Yusuf replies with knight f6, soon transposing into the Berlin variation of the Nimzo-Indian defense. Yusuf plays c5, striking early at the center, taking advantage of the fact that the d4 pawn is no longer protected by the queen. This gives Anna 2 options. She can either defend the d4 pawn with a move like e3, or simply take the pawn on c5. Playing e3, for instance, blocks the eye of her dark-squared bishop, which is definitely not something Anna wants to do in the opening. So she takes on c5, but Yusuf is patient and knows that capturing the pawn on c5 isn't urgent at the moment, so he goes on to castle. Both players continue developing their pieces, and Yusuf once again strikes at the heart of the board, with d5 initiating more activity. Anna captures the pawn on d5, Yusuf recaptures, but now we can all pretty much agree that Yusuf's position is far more active and favorable than that of Anna's, especially since the pawn trade has opened up the diagonal of Yusuf's light-squared bishop. Also, Yusuf's recapture of the d5 pawn prepares the push to d4, potentially threatening to win the c3 knight. This means that Anna has to play fairly precisely, or else this game may turn in favor of the young prodigy. But just as I say this, Anna plays e3, which is a mistake. This move blocks the eye of her c1 bishop and also delays the development of her pieces. A much better move would have been to castle, which prepares rook d1, adding pressure onto Yusuf's isolated d5 pawn. Castling also removes the pin of the bishop on Anna's king, which is also great. So after e3, Yusuf follows with knight f to e4, bringing all of his pieces into the action. Stockfish currently evaluates this position as equal for both players, but I'd take Yusuf's position anytime, any day. Anna finally brings her king to safety, and Yusuf plays the best move, bishop takes c3. The idea behind this capture is quite clear, as Yusuf wants to disrupt Anna's queenside pawn structure. After Anna recaptures, we see she now has 2 isolated pawns, one on a2 and one on c3. These types of pawns are typically vulnerable, since they can't be defended by another pawn. You could think of it as a pawn stranded on a deserted island. Now, this opens up opportunities for Yusuf, such as the move queen a5, which he plays in the game. He activates his queen, adding an attacker to the c3 pawn that is now attacked twice and only defended once. Anna continues with c4, which is a good move, since it moves her pawn out of the way of the queen and knight and attempts to get rid of one of her weak pawns. Though her position almost looks sunshine and roses, Yusuf doesn't let her off the hook and develops his last minor piece to e6, kicking out Anna's queen. Anna must retreat her queen, which she does to e2, and Yusuf starts pulling out the big guns and slides his rook onto the open d file. Anna plays bishop b2 with the idea of connecting her rooks and potentially creating some progress in her development, but this wasn't really a great idea at the moment. In these types of cramped positions, she should be looking to trade off Yusuf's most active pieces, like his knights. A move like knight d4 would have been amazing, as it not only blocks half the rook's file, but also attacks the bishop on e6, and opens the eye of her own bishop to take Yusuf's knight on e4, creating possibilities of some trades. But after bishop b2, Yusuf finds a nice subtle move, queen a4. Now, to be honest, this is a hard move to find, as most players would instinctively bring their other rook to c8 to fully complete their development. The idea behind queen a4 is to play bishop c4 on the next move, skewering Anna's queen and rook. Anna sees this and plays rook d1, offering an exchange of rooks, but she overlooks the fact that Yusuf can still play bishop c4, which slowly suffocates her queen. She has only one safe square for her queen, which is on e1, but Yusuf shows no mercy and plays knight d3. Yusuf still has over 2 minutes on his clock, while Anna is down to her last minute, which is not looking great for her. Left with no other good option, Anna is forced to sacrifice the exchange, after which she follows with knight d4, cutting off the connection of the rook and bishop. Yusuf gets his last rook into the game, and Anna offers another rook trade. However, rook c1 is actually a mistake, since it leaves the isolated pawn on a2 unprotected, allowing Yusuf to take it with his queen. Anna follows with another mistake by playing bishop a1, which opens the eye of Yusuf's queen on the f2 pawn. Yusuf immediately sees the winning sequence and goes on to trade off the rooks and take on f2 with check. After Anna is forced to move her king to h1, Yusuf tries to get a little fancy and plays knight takes g3, sacrificing his knight fight for 2 pawns in order to open up Anna's kingside. Now, something funny happens. Anna plays queen e1 here, thinking she's offering a queen trade, but little did she know, she just gave up her whole queen. Apparently, she thought she still had a rook on a1, but forgot that the rooks had been traded earlier. But Yusuf stays humble and allows Anna to take her move back, which is a very respectful gesture by him. Though already a totally losing position for Anna, even after taking her move back, she tries one last trick that she has up her sleeve, queen c3, which attacks Yusuf's bishop on d3 and also sneakily prepares a plausible discovered attack mate threat. Yusuf simply retreats his bishop to a6, after seeing that the discovered mate threat doesn't quite work just yet. Anna thinks she's still threatening mate after knight f5, but misses that Yusuf has mate soon after rook d1 check. She soon realizes she's in a dead lost position and resigns, handing over the victory to the one and only Yusuf.